All right, you guys, we are back to videos on your buyer briefing this week, and I want you just to sit tight a little bit because what's going on is frankly still uncertain. And here's what we know. The houses that look really good, that have been updated, that present really well are going over list price. And we're seeing that completely across the board of all of Northern Virginia. Every house that is turnkey that just seems easy to move into is what everyone and their brother are looking at. The houses are going significantly over list price when they are in this condition. And if you want that house, we will get it for you. But you have to be ready and willing to be super competitive. And we actually saw a house in Vienna. This is not the norm, so I want you to don't freak out, but I do like to share the information. We saw a house in Vienna that was like beautifully renovated, easy to move in, and it went over $400,000 over list price. Now that is nuts. That was 2 weeks ago. This week we saw a house that was in a fantastic spot. It's easy to move in, could use some updating over time, and it went more like 150 over list price. Again, we're seeing this all over Northern Virginia. If a house, though, needs work, maybe isn't as glamorous, we're noticing it's not as competitive. So it's not getting a ton of offers in the first weekend. It's still getting a couple. You maybe have to escalate a bit, but it's not 35 offers, 400 over list, or even 5 offers, 150 over list. And it's really important that you understand just the way the market is flowing because it is going to help you with your search. If you do not have the capacity to go 100 to 200 over list price, first of all, you're not alone, so don't freak out. But then you cannot shop at the top of your budget. If you're looking at the top of your budget with a house that is turnkey, beautiful, great location, wanting like easy to move in, you're going to get disappointed, and it's really, really hard to come back from that. I know this from personal experience. When we first moved to Virginia, we actually wrote an offer on a house, and thank goodness we had a contingency, but they didn't actually even accept our offer because the lender was like, actually, you can't get this much house. And we were like, what? We just weren't walked through the process in advance, which is why I got my license. Hello, that's why we're here. But we then had to go back a couple $100,000 in our search. And it's hard. It's really hard to do that. At the end of the day, it all worked out because I was obsessed with the location we got. I loved the house that we were in. It wasn't big enough, but we made it work for a few years. We made it work for 3 years before we could move. And sometimes that sacrifice has to be made to be able to get you into the location and into a house that you can start to be the beneficiary of the appreciation. Because when these houses go over list price, it just keeps happening, right? So every year that you wait, or every year that you hold off, or every year that you're like, I'm waiting for the perfect house, that perfect house prices just continues to increase. So what you're seeing now, even at, let's say 1.3 million, it's in a month, that 1.3 in the same neighborhood, in the same area looks different. So because they're escalating, once it closes, that becomes the new comp in the neighborhood. And so all I want you to know is those turnkey houses are moving super quick, no contingencies, over list. You've got to be ready to be competitive. And if you are willing to be competitive, but you're shopping at the top of your budget, it's really, 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 really challenging to come back. So as we're really, it's mid-May now. I would say we've got about 4 more weeks of the most inventory that we're going to see for this spring. Houses are going to still continue to come on the market for the rest of the year. There are houses that will become available, but this is like the biggest springtime is the next 4 weeks until schools get out mid-June. And so it's just let's stay focused and be like super smart with our strategy, because the last thing I want is you to feel devastated or beat up or like you're not getting anywhere. It's really, really hard to come back from that. And I totally get it. This market is unpredictable. It's uncertain of like, is this house going to go over 150 or is it going to sit? We just don't know. And so we are always going to act quickly on a house that you might have interest on, unless you're like, Cassie, this is the top of our budget and we cannot go 100 over, then we wait. We're going to wait and let it get through the first weekend. Let's see what happens. If they get a deadline, then we know it's not the right house for you. And we're going to shop the following week a little bit lower in price. So we're in the thick of it, you guys. We are in the thick of it. We're spring market, heads down for the next 4 weeks, totally focused. And we are going to get you the house when it is your turn, when it is your time. So if you have any questions specifically about you or your buying process, just reach out. We can jump on a phone call. Happy to walk through best strategy for you. Where, like, maybe should we add in some new areas to look? What makes the most sense? Let's have that conversation now before this weekend gears up, before we start our searches and start our tours. So you're competitive and getting excited again.